So before this, most of the trees that we would plant out west would be trees from out east. It would be the trees from Europe or from the East Coast. Those are the trees that when we first, the United States of America, kind of when I say we, but also Europeans before that, whenever they were looking to plant a tree, they would plant the trees they knew. So they would bring their European species over to North America and they plant them here. Then when they went from the east, they would bring their native species from the East Coast over to the west and down in Texas over to California, up here in the Pacific Northwest. And they would do fine. But people are like, well, wait a second. We have all of our own native trees here. Why are we cutting down our native trees and then planting all these non-native ornamental trees? And often the non-native ornamental trees don't do as well because of lots of different bits and parts about the ecosystem, the climate, the soils, all these kinds of things that make a tree adapted to a certain place. Those are different if you move that tree around. So the idea is, well, let's plant native trees because they're already pretty established and pretty, they know how to deal with our environmental stressors. They're already adapted. So on the other side of that is this idea in arboriculture called right tree for right place. And I usually add on to that for the right purpose, because usually we're planting a tree for some given thing, and it's a good thing to think about. But namely, the idea is you want to plant a tree that is adapted to the circumstances that also won't cause conflict with the infrastructure around it. So it's the classic thing, don't plant a 100-foot tall tree underneath 30-foot power lines. You know, you've always seen those with like the U-shaped power line trees. So we want to avoid that. You know, you also want to avoid planting trees along the street that are going to completely destroy the sidewalk because they have really shallow roots or something like that. So there's the idea of right tree, right place, which kind of says, well, if it's not a native tree, that's not necessarily a bad thing. You can still plant a tree that is non-invasive, that's not going to cause any damage, that is well adapted to the climate, and that's still going to be an okay thing. So the idea is you don't necessarily have to stick with your personal, the one palette of wherever you live. You can plant a lot of different things, the right tool for the right job kind of idea. But then all this is layered on top of climate change, where we can say, well, yeah, we can look and see what it is right now, but this tree is going to live for 80, 100, 150 years. What is the climate going to be like? And can we potentially plant a tree that is going to be better adapted to what we think the future climate is going to be like in Austin, in Portland, in wherever you're at? Usually that's looking at things that grow in hotter, drier situations, but also can take the cool temperatures of the hot temperatures. So a lot of Mexican trees would be planted in South Texas. Also, you could imagine a lot of Californian trees get planted in Oregon, and then Oregon trees planted in Washington, so on and so forth.
A part of their the tree's migration.
Yeah. It's actually the term that people use is assisted migration, and it's kind of a bit of a hot topic because it's like saying, well, we're pretty sure that the mountains up here are going to be like the mountains down there, so we're going to start planting those trees up here. And people are like, whoa. We do not have, that is not our forest. We do not want your California trees up in our Oregon forests. Our Oregon forests are doing just fine. So in the urban areas, if we're dealing with trees around our landscapes, it's usually not that big of a deal. We're already planting a lot of species that are non-native, like I said earlier. So usually you're like, man, let's just see what it's like and see if these trees that are adapted to lower latitudes, but often higher elevations, let's see how those work up here.